how are you doing? I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. We have such an exciting day planned today. It's my day off and we're gonna go meet my friend Josephina for breakfast and a coffee at Belmont's Organic Market, and we're gonna spend the morning going around the op shops and exploring a few like the ceramic places and the interior stores. I'm so pleased to go take her up there after I've done a recce up there myself last week. She was so happy when she watched my video and has been begging me in work to take her, so that's what we're gonna go off and do this morning. Hopefully just have a fairly relaxed one-to-one catch-up time. There's definitely been a lot happening that I need to catch you up on. Outfit for today. I might need to move you actually. This is a dress I got when I went to the thrifter, which is where we're actually going to today. I love this. I'm so pleased I picked it up. It's so flattering. It's in my colour palette. Rat and boa. I'm wearing a size small for anyone who is similar in sizing to me, and it's so gorgeous. My little And Ever Story shoulder bag, which I seem to always wear and never wear another bag. And then I'm also, again, very Australian. I don't think you can see it here, but I'm just wearing my billabong dark brown thongs. So unfortunately I think my hair is going to become helmet hair in a minute because we're going to take the scooter. But yeah, let's go find Josephina. I don't know why anyone even does these kind of shots. Good for storytelling, but terrible for the execution and getting anywhere on time properly. What do you think of the coffee? Oh, not the coffee.
Really good.
Well, you haven't had a coffee, but you had...
I have a granola.
Granola, and I had banana bread, although I haven't really finished it all.
So good. My favorite.
Yeah. Do you want some more? I can't finish the rest of it. It's so big. But we're gonna go op shopping. Very exciting. Are you excited for that? And I've got the most amazing place to take you to that does like vintage Chanel, vintage Gucci.
Here?
Yeah, it's like on the other end of the industrial estate. So round the corner down there is Waves of Kindness, an op shop, massive one. And then we'll get on the scooters, drive to the other end of the industrial estate. There's a pottery studio. Oh, I'll take you to, because you like pottery and ceramics too. It's called Kim Wallace, and she's in Noosa, and she makes it all in the studio, and it's really pretty.
Excited!
Yeah. And then there's that little vintage place I'll take you to at the end. Waves of Kindness, they have these massive bins at the front that are like $2 per item of clothing, but you have to like you have to like dig through. So it depends if you're like in the mood to do it.
I'm good doing that.
I love doing that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find something that's absolutely amazing or you find nothing. Oh, I forgot to bring my clothes up to donate. I knew I forgot something this morning. So I just finished up with Josephina, and you're never going to guess where I'm going for the first time. And it's taken me this long, of almost 6 months of being in Australia. But we're going to Woolies, which some people are going to be shocked by it's taken me this long, but I've always just been in Coles and Aldi. I'll talk about my first impression of Woolies when I get home, but didn't really think about transporting a baguette on a bike. I think this is literally going to have to go on my bag, and I'm gonna have to cycle along just holding it in for dear life. I had the best time with Josephina. It was so sweet showing her around. I'm so happy. She was so pleased, and it was so nice to show someone around some of my new favourite spots and something a bit further out of Noosa Heads and into Noosaville. So we're back home on a very breezy day, which is lovely because it's so hot today. But I thought I'd bring down my little haul from Woolworths down by the fountain here and eat my lunch outside on the lawn, because this building here used to be a restaurant, but it shut down unfortunately. And they've still got all the outdoor seating areas just outside my flat. So thought I'd embrace the sunshine under the cover of the shade and have a change of scenery. And it's definitely the perfect weather to get in the pool, so I'm gonna get in the pool after. But Woolies, my first impressions, honestly very similar to Coles. I didn't exactly do a massive food shop, but It's kind of nice with the darker interiors and bits, but the price difference isn't really any different, so I don't think I have any preference. But Coles is in Noosa Heads, whereas that's in Noosaville, so I still feel like Coles is going to be my best bet in terms of getting there faster than Woolworths, but I don't mind going there now and again just to mix it up slightly. I was going to treat myself to like a little lemonade or kombucha, but I just really wasn't fancying any of the ones they had in there, so maybe we'll go grab another drink later. But for now I've got some really icy water and I brought down like a glass and everything, so really excited to do that. And I'm filming over here purely because this fountain is very loud, and I found that out when I last edited a video when I was sat by it, so hopefully it's not too loud this time.
Deixa de preguiça, deixa o cobertor, deixa que hoje eu ser o teu calor.
I think it's time we have a little heart-to-heart, and this is a very vulnerable chat for me to have, and something I've not actually even spoken to my family or friends about, but I thought it was important to share this as I guess it's part of my journey of being here. And for a little bit of context, before I moved here, I used to work at Dyson, and I used to work in kind of their marketing, mainly in beauty and wearables, and I was like a digital experience designer, and I left that career mainly to make the move here, and I was really hoping to find creative work quite quickly after I moved here. However, that hasn't been the case really. It's been a lot harder to find work in this region of Australia for the industry level I want to be in. And with that, it's meant that I've worked in hospitality a lot longer than I anticipated. Most people think I have my shit together, and I think that's a really common misconception a lot of people in their 20s have about all their friends in their 20s. They just seem to have it all together. But for the first time in my 20s, I am feeling a bit lost. It's been a very uncomfortable feeling to be sat with, and a very uncomfortable reality to come to terms with. When I took a step back and I had a bit of an emotional conversation with Jake about it, I think a lot of it stems from I place a lot of my self-worth on my career and the work I was doing, the value I provide the world with the work that I'm doing and what I feel like I'm good at. It's definitely taught me a lot moving to Australia that people really are not defined by their careers and the work that they do. So many people start their careers a lot later here. The general attitude towards living is that you work to live, not live to work. And it's something that has been quite, I wouldn't say a culture shock, but for me personally, it's been really hard to digest. A lot of the stress I'm feeling as well. I know I'm only halfway through my first year visa, but I only have up to 3 years here on my working holiday visa that I can renew each year, until I would need to find an alternative visa or some way of being sponsored for permanent residency. I have achieved so much in my early 20s. I graduated uni, and even after just handing in my final project, I started an internship. I have never had a gap year. I went straight to uni when I was 18. I have never taken any time out to solo travel or do anything like that, and mainly because I was so mentally ill and not prepared to do it on my own, and I didn't have the skills and the skill set to do it. However, now I've had a bit more time in my career and I've really enjoyed that part of working in the industry and feel like I have a lot of experience. I don't want to waste my time here in Australia if it is going to be really precious, and with that being said, I have decided to now take the next 2 years as kind of a career break. And I know a lot of people think that might be crazy, and I think it is slightly crazy as someone who's so career driven, but I really want to be present in my time here in Australia, see more of Australia, and utilise being in this corner of the globe to travel to Indonesia, maybe Southern Asia, to Japan. It's so much cheaper than I'll ever get access to doing these trips from home. So 2025 is going to be the year where I am going to be trying to travel and see as much of Australia as possible. Apologies, my camera gave up for a good 20 minutes there. I want to spend this year really looking inwards and bettering myself as a person, really getting to a comfortable and healthy place with my mental health, my sense of self, really understanding who I am. I'm already really enjoying spending my time in my own company way more than I ever did. I really want to continue thriving and enjoying that. This year, I also really want to give a few things I never would have tried in life a go, pursuing this as a little hobby. And there's a few irons in the fire of projects I want to keep kind of under wraps until they're a bit more ready to announce or share to the world. Really, it's only for fun, but there's a lot more benefit out of it in terms of gaining more business experience. And then the following year, for 2026, I really want to prioritise going home to visit my family and Milton, then focusing on more international travel. So whether that's Indonesia, South Asia, up to Japan. I will never have the opportunity again to have such cheap and convenient access to these places. I also want to have that as a solo trip, especially. I think it would be really great for my growth. It's something I never would experience if I jumped back into a career and never could take the time off to do. That's the general gist of what I'm planning on doing. It does put things on the back burner, such as Milton moving over here, but I didn't want to move him over here till I had my permanent residency anyways. But if I go back into a career now, I won't have this opportunity to travel and see the world as much as I can again without leaving my job. And I want to make sure I'm going back into a career to be there for the long term. This is the only time I think in the near future before I want to have children, start a family, where I'll have the opportunity to do this, and a partner who's so happy and willing and enthusiastic for me to do it. Jake has been such a cheerleader and really encouraged me to do this and push me out my comfort zone. Anyways, I feel like it's really vulnerable because it's a decision not many people probably make. At almost 25, I feel like this is something people do when they're like 18 or 19 or 20. All my friends and family know how much I love my job and how much purpose it gives me. And I think this is just going to be a challenge and an experiment. I always have the option to not pursue this if I'm not enjoying it. But I feel like it's what is right and might re-energize me to go back into a career and bring more to the table as a well-rounded individual. And I think it's really important for my personal journey and growth as a human being. And I want to be able to have a family in the future with no regrets, feeling like I didn't spend my time on this earth exploring it and having stories to tell my children or my grandchildren. I want to be able to go home when I visit my family and tell them about all the amazing adventures I've had here, not that I've been sat in Noosa working or sat in a certain city working the entire time I've been here. Either way, I think I've been feeling like this for a month or two now, and having the conversations with others has really helped. It's something I just want to share in case there's someone out there that feels alone in that feeling, and I just hope maybe the next exercise might help someone. If it's helped me or helped one of my friends, maybe it will help somebody. I'm intrigued to hear other people's opinions because a lot of my audience is actually a bit older than me or similar in age to me. I'd appreciate anyone's advice if they've ever felt like they've been in a similar situation to this. And I have really been questioning my purpose. What's my role here on this planet? What do I bring to the table? I think this is going to be a really exciting journey. And as much as I'm anxious about sharing this news, I am so excited for everything that's to come and everything I get to see. And even if I can't stay in here in Australia after 3 years and I can't get sponsorship, I know I've made the most out of having my time here. Either way, life is short. You never know what's going to happen. I was catching up with one of my friends from home. Friend's close friend passed away really suddenly and unexpectedly. And it really reminded me how brief and short life can be. And it was a bit of a wake-up call. So I got a really beautiful message from one of my subscribers, and we message back and forth a little bit all the time. She's actually planning a trip up here to Noosa. Hi Sarah, if you're watching, I'm sure you are. But she sent me a beautiful message the other day telling me how she's so happy to see how much happier I've been since I've moved here and how full of love and joy I seem to have since meeting Jake and really settling here. And reading that genuinely, well, she wouldn't notice, but I got a little bit upset in like a nice way. And it really reaffirmed to me that I made the right choice moving here, and this next step is probably the right choice for where I'm at in my life now and the journey I'm on. And I hope this is something that will excite people. I'm sure a lot of people will really want to see a bit more of Oz 2 or my perspective on it, so it kind of aligns with what I think everyone else might enjoy on this channel. Anyways, I'm rambling. And my camera's going to overheat again, so I'll catch you in a little bit because I need to go lie in the sun and just decompress because my chest is all feeling tight, and sharing this is a relief, but I feel incredibly anxious sharing out into the world and waiting for those opinions to come in. So I'm definitely going to digitise these scraps of paper that I drew on in work to help figure out what I was going to do with my life when we were really quiet. But I'm making a digital worksheet, so it's a free resource if anyone wants to go through the same exercises that I did. I'll pop it up here, and then I'm going to leave a little miniature or whatever graphic here of it filled out with my personal stuff. I might have blurred some of them out because I don't want everyone to know what's going on and want to leave some things as a surprise. However, I just wanted to kind of talk you through how I came up with this, how to use it. So when I was stood in the kitchen with Josephina, I originally looked at a timeline of my life. Now for me, I wanted to focus primarily on life before turning 30, and that's because I envisioned my 30s being more about buying property, about starting and settling a family, potentially, if I get the opportunity to do that. I know are going to be more permanent, they're going to require a lot more of my attention and focus, and I wanted to primarily focus on my life before I do that. And a big part of that was obviously my career and my time in Australia, as well as travel, personal development. There's a lot of different brackets of things you can sit into, but I started focusing on things that I wouldn't probably be able to achieve as easily when I have the responsibility of children and marriage, etc, etc. So that's how I started to break down my year, and I knew I had 3 years on my visa until 2027 that I was going to be in Australia. So with that being said, I then broke it down for 3 years. Now, if we've all learned something from COVID, you can't really plan anything further than 3 months in advance. However, I'm open-minded to this changing. This is just a loose structure. It's an exercise that really helped me feel like I worked through what was going to be realistic. As you'll see on this little spreadsheet, I have put more into 2025 than I have 2026 or 2027, but that's because I know things are going to change, plans might change. So we'll just walk through 2025. That's what I branded my Australia year. So primarily traveling Australia. I put down a massive list of destinations I'd love to go to. Will I see them all? Who knows? But I've also put down some personal goals on here, which I've blurred out. I've got things to do with more education for myself, more skills, qualifications, personal goals, and I've put those all into a little calendar and then time blocked them out for when roughly in a year they're going to happen. Some of these are set in stone, some of these really aren't and can be flexible, but it gives me an idea when I did the calendar of, can I afford to do all of that? Is it going to be too much to take on? Is that realistic? And then I brought the same exercise through to 2026, which I branded as my international travel year. And that's not because I'm going to be traveling around the world, but I'm definitely going to be going more out into Southeast Asia and South Asia, Indonesia, maybe Fiji or New Zealand. A few other personal qualifications which I may choose to do if 2025 goes well. I've also planned in when I'm going to go home, as I realise I might not do that this year in 2025. And then I've left 2027 just down to written goals because I didn't feel the need to have the calendar there so much for that. But utilise this as you will. I hope it's useful, and if someone wanted me to do a video more in depth talking through this, or how I'd advise working through that, or getting one of my friends to sit and do it from scratch and you can see the process of how we figure it out, I would be more than happy to film that. And I think it might be more useful to have a demo of someone new using it. I don't think I'm doing a great job of explaining it, but hopefully I have. But yeah, I think you just have to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. I think I'm definitely someone that can get too in my own head and anxious about the present and the near future, and don't take a step back and look at life as a whole. I know we don't know what's happening and what's around the corner, but what we can do is make the most informed decisions we can now and live life with a good heart, good intentions, and live a life where we spread love, joy to other people, because at the end of the day, human connection is the one thing that brings us all together, and human emotions are the one thing, no matter where you are in the world, is something we all universally experience, even if we can't communicate that to each other through language or music or art or whatever. I've got very introspective now, so I'm going to shut off the camera and crack on with an early dinner. I am excited for breakfast for dinner. I've done it for the past 3 days because Jake made me dinner when he was here the other day, and we had like bacon, eggs, hash browns and some baked beans, and now I don't have any bacon, but I'm going to make the same thing again because it's so yummy and I haven't really been eating a proper breakfast for a while, so
Deixa de preguiça, deixa o cobertor, deixa que já sei como é. Sei que o nosso amor aquece quando quer. De manhãzinho o sol nasceu.
My chilled evening took a bit of a unchilled turn. My landlord was out on the balcony chowing down on some steak he cooked on the barbie and unfortunately started choking. It was an incredibly scary experience, and we managed to get some air in past the food. That was through grabbing a fizzy drink from the fridge with some quick thinking between the both of us and getting that down him, and he couldn't communicate obviously, but unfortunately the food was still lodged in his throat. Luckily he could breathe and we didn't need to call an ambulance ASAP, but I had to put my big girl boots on and drive his 4x4 all the way to the hospital. Luckily it's only a 10-minute drive away from here. I've dropped him off to A&E and I've left him there so they can help. So that now means we're going to be having probably a little bit of a late night chat session. Chat session, or just, I guess we're going to continue chilling. I guess I'm on speed dial indefinitely, but I don't know how long he's going to be. I'm thinking maybe an hour or so, but that's me being optimistic about Australian hospitals. If it was the UK, we would be talking like half a day. But it still could be half a day, I guess. But anyways, I'm going to continue watching Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I was in the middle of doing that little worksheet for this vlog. However, I think I just need to take a deep breath and actually relax because I am a little bit upset after all of that happened. I'm not having any tears today. So I decided I'm going to download a DS simulator so I can play some of my old childhood favourites. Sorry, you're seeing the raw end of this really unfiltered right now, but I'm going to go clear up bits of sick across the house and sort out all the food, etc. But yeah, let's go back into chill mode after that. And I'm gonna call her Milty after Milton. After realizing the microphone doesn't work for this, I'm actually gonna load up Sims 2 instead, because I remember really struggling with this game when I was younger and had like this weird alien walking around. I don't think I comprehend what I was meant to do in the game, so I want to see whether the game was actually misleading and what to do, or whether I was just being stupid as a child. So let's have a load of this and see how it goes. My absolute angel of a boyfriend is playing Uno with me, which is so nice. So I've just done my little wind down routine and I've decided I'm going to continue playing my ambulator in bed for a little while just to continue de-stressing, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm going to do that and then hopefully take my magnesium, do a little bit of journaling, and then I'll be signing this off. Well, I guess I'll sign it off now. So thank you so much for joining me for such a weird collective day. It's definitely not turned out the way I thought it was going to, but has been so nice to relax for the most part and get to catch up with you all properly about where I'm at and what's happening. And I cannot wait to catch you in the next video. I have so many exciting things happening. I'm off to Melbourne next week, so there'll be a lot of content up about that and some familiar faces if you watch any other channels around that too. But I'll catch you in the next one.